How about painting some trees? I would love to invite you for some autumn inspiration. I think it's time to start with some autumn videos, and this one is the very first one. We are gonna do some splashes to begin with. I have some watercolor paper, and please use whatever you have on your hand. Any type of colors that you think it will match and suit the autumn vibe. So some shades of green, yellow, browns, beige, whatever you feel like it. I'm using all sorts of type of paints. As you can see, I have all kinds of around me, cheaper, more expensive, it doesn't matter. Once you have your splashes sort of ready, you can clean your brush, make sure that it's wet enough, that it has some bit of water on it, and then you can start painting with that wet brush on top of your splashes to create and paint some beautiful oval shapes. And then you can see watercolor scribble in the corner. That's the inspiration from last year, I think, on my other YouTube channel. I loved that video. It was also one of my first last year's autumn inspiration, and I just felt that for this YouTube channel, since it's our very first autumn season for the channel, I thought, wouldn't that be just amazing to have the trees, to have the doodles, to have the watercolors. Of course, all we do here is watercolors, but to have this kind of easy project, very much pleasing for the eyes, really project that anyone could do, and also project that, truth to be told, I think it's too cute not to actually try it. And once I added a heart, which we're gonna see in a minute, it was just the project, it was done. Like it made the project, and I just felt so good about it. I loved the project all the way, like what you see now. I just loved it. I thought that the coloring was just working beautifully, the shapes, even though we have 4 trees, and usually I would rather go by 1, 3, 5 or 7, so uneven numbers, right? The 4 somehow speak to me. They spoke to me. I didn't mind. The doodles that I'm making, I am using, as always, Pilot GTEC C4. If you're not too sure which I'm talking about, the pen link is in the description box, of course, below under the video. Pilot GTEC C4, it's the best I have used so far, and so many of you have purchased it already. And the watercolors that I have been using for this project as well, as you can tell, it's a mixture of all sorts of shades from different types of brand watercolors. It doesn't matter what kind of watercolors you have. You can really use the kids one, which is the roundy ones on the right and on the left that you can see, and I love them to bits. I have used them tons of times, and I will be continue using them. I'm actually back to them, sort of thing, because I neglected them, to be honest, the moment when I discovered more expensive watercolors, the watercolors that seems to be working better or have gorgeous shade, or the mix of them, it's just amazing. Honestly, I missed my old watercolors, the kids one. I just love them, and they are fantastic. Now you can see the doodle that I started, and I think when we're gonna fill in the colors on the final touches on our trees, you will see that the heart was just such a beautiful center of attention to the project. I love the doodle. Any sort of doodle you wish to do, it's perfectly fine. You can look at that older video of mine, so you can see the doodles that I have done there. There was plenty of autumn trees back then. There is only 4 here, but they just so gorgeousness. I loved it. And here I just felt like, yeah, something is about to happen to that heart. And I think at that point I was like, how about if I color it? I think this was the moment. Am I right? Yes. Because I just felt like doodling anything more wouldn't be that good. And because the tree itself was quite bright, bringing that green, which is lovely. I love that shade of green for this year, I have to say. I think it just made it all pop and make this center of attention, and just so cute. And yeah, and then I made the leaf, of course. While I was doing doodles and drawing, and I was thinking what to add, what to draw, because it's always a little bit of thinking process of what kind of watercolor design you're gonna add. Actually, I just looked at myself that not only my watch is green, but also my sweater is green, so I have a perfect color combo on my hand for today's video. I also have been filling the colors on the green leaf, just different shades, and I also felt like, you know what, it's great. And even though in some way it's not uneven that what I usually would run for, I think it just works so beautifully. And adding the color to these right now, I think it's making the project really standing out altogether and just looking forever gorgeous, seriously. And those are also the colors that are so not so typical. I don't think it's that very much typical look and feel of autumn because it's more green than, like, autumn is probably more brownish than such a juicy, beautifully yellowy green, but I still feel it's a gorgeousness autumn inspiration. I also wish you to know that you can use whatever brushes you have. This kind of painting, this kind of work of art, if we can call it art, I would love to call it art, and I don't mind. I think it's just, it is art. It, like, you know, it's our imagination, so it's art. So I wish you to know that this kind of art inspiration, crafting inspiration, you don't need special tools to begin. Honestly, use what you have, use the supplies you own already, and don't think and feel that you really have to have everything what I'm using. You can make a little bit of a note that I am having my brushes pointy, which is lovely and it's helping. So my round brushes, whether it's very big one like number 12 sort of thing, or 6 heavy book on top, because my paper was, I was drying it, and of course to make it and the rest of the mug is very heavy. That was the leftover of tea. I just wanted you to see that all my brushes, 2 of them, are super much pointy, and that's something that is very handy and helpful. Now when everything dried, I am going over with doodles again, because the black, obviously being on the wet surface, being painted, and not painted, drawn, doodled, it kind of faded, which is normal, natural, and that's how it is. And I don't mind that because I love the kind of shadowy effect it gives. But then to make it more, bring it to life, make it more specific, not specific, sorry, my English, make it more striking and beautiful, I just added extra layer of black pen, and that made it even more magical. And now lastly, tiny brush to make some white touches, which is like, you know, highlight. It just makes it a little bit nicer and just gives this dimension of the project. I'm not great at highlights, but honestly, I don't mind. I think I'm gonna study this year. For my new year resolution will be study and really learn things, and really, like, I do teach people, but I think I teach with my heart being open, which I think I would love a little bit of my own self being taught, you know. And here's once more the inspiration from last year. I'll give you the link to this one because it's gorgeousness and it's different, which is nice. Thank you so very much, my beautiful friends. I hope you like this one and you're gonna try it. Have a beautiful day, and I chat to you soon. Bye.